After the hype of Star Wars and Harry Potter went away, yes, there was a time when that happened, LEGO saw sales decline drastically, and as sets of these two franchises began to sit on store shelves instead of inside kids' toy boxes, LEGO decided they needed to create their own franchise rather than rely on second-party involvement. Did somebody say ninjas? In 2011, LEGO released their Ninjago line, and the rest is history. Hi everyone, I'm Mech, and this is LEGO Ninjago Legacy Set 70665, the Samurai Mech. Happy New Year everyone, it's 2019 and that means LEGO has rolled out new sets for the year. And instead of looking at the LEGO Movie 2 line like everyone else is doing, I wanted to take a look at something that I am personally genuinely excited about. The Samurai Mech from the LEGO Ninjago Legacy line. When Ninjago first came out, I wasn't collecting LEGO, so I missed out on a lot. My excitement was ramped up for 2019's new lines when I learned that the LEGO Ninjago Legacy line was coming out. I missed the original Samurai X, but now, thanks to Legacy, we can take another look at Naya and her mech. The minifig selection for this set is pretty nice, giving us two Skulkin skeleton warriors. Although they're not named on the box, they can be put together to give us at least one classic Skulkin warrior. With the mohawk, metal eye patch, blue loincloth, and having an axe for a weapon, this one could arguably be Nukai, the lightning general. The other one, however, I can't quite pinpoint. The weapon would suggest Chopov, but the red loincloth would heavily suggest that this is a new incarnation of Samukai himself. But then there's the whole forearm thing. If anyone watching knows who this character actually is, if he is anyone, please let me know in the comments below. The figures are fun. I love the skull pieces that replace the standard minifig head and the bone bodies. I've never had any of the Skeleton Warrior figs, and I'm very happy with these two that came with the mech set. The paint apps are simple, with the only difference being the color of their loincloths and different faces painted on the skull pieces. The backs are plain, and of course the characters only have one face. For accessories, each have their weapon, an axe for Nukai, and a large scimitar for the other one. And before we step away from these two, let me say I love Nukai's mohawk. Once again, this character has no name in the set, but we all know this is Naya in her Samurai X incarnation. For me, this is my favorite persona of Naya. I like this much better than her water ninja persona, mainly for the same reason that Naya herself preferred being Samurai X. It was hers. It was different. She stood out more with this identity. As the water ninja, she just kinda blends in with the rest of them. Naya comes with her samurai armor, including helmet, and this is really my only complaint about this set. Her armor piece is so bland and flat, and it adds nothing to the figure. The only thing this piece adds to her is her shoulder pads. If you don't believe me, let's take a look at her without this piece on. And you can see that the paint app on her torso and legs is really well done. The layered look of her armor is something that should be highlighted and not hidden. Thankfully, the wonderfully detailed printing is carried over on the back of the fig, and once again it makes you wonder if they were going to put so much detail on this fig, why cover it up? Her torso and leg printing lines match up perfectly, and I love the look of the golden sash tied around her waist. The printing is almost seamless. The printing on her legs and toes is nice and blends well with her torso printing. Naya's helmet is nothing new. In fact, we've seen it on previous versions of her fig, and she dual wields katanas, both of which can be integrated into her mech while she's in the pilot's seat, which we'll see in a moment. Naya's face printing is very much in character for her, and she has two face prints, but there's really not much difference between them. Not to me, at least. Before we talk about the mech itself, let me start by saying I don't own the original Samurai X mech LEGO set, nor do I have the Kilowog vs. Samurai X set from last year, so there's not going to be any kind of comparison here, and we're just going to let this mech stand on its own. Now, having said that, let's get into it. First off, I loved putting this thing together. It's not a complex build, but it is fun and makes great use of existing parts to create a samurai-style mech. The color scheme matches Naya's own armor, and when she's in the pilot's position, it looks like an extension of what she's wearing. And that's something I appreciate about this build. It really does look like a mech suit rather than something that she would be sitting in and piloting. The crimson and red pieces complement each other, and the golden highlights make the whole figure pop. This thing is armed to the teeth. On its left hand are Naya's golden katanas, and in its right hand it wields a third mech-scaled samurai sword built from 3 pieces and looks better than what I was expecting. Finally, on its shoulders, just behind the pilot's compartment, are a pair of stud shooters loaded with golden studs. The mech doesn't have hands to hold things. Instead, it just has a pair of clip pieces to hold its weaponry, and I don't have a problem with this. For the build size, these plate pieces work well enough for it. There are no printed pieces on this build, but the stickers have some wonderful prints on them and really does add something to the character of the mech. 2 of my favorites being the chest symbol that is also on Naya's own armor, and the standard that rises up off the mech's back, displaying what I assume is Naya's Samurai X symbol. The back of the mech looks better than what I was expecting. I thought this was going to end up being all open negative studs, but the LEGO designer did a good job of covering them up. The few negative studs that are open on the bottom torso, I decided to make use of and store the extra golden studs there that they give you for additional ammo. Articulation on this thing is fantastic. While it's not balanced enough to stand on one leg as some of the other LEGO mechs can, the friction of its ball joints is enough that it holds almost any pose you put the mech in. The only disappointment is that the size of this mech is great for being minifigure scale, but it is going to be difficult to find any other mech that this piece will scale with, especially not owning any of the other LEGO Ninjago sets. But despite that, I'm going to love putting this thing up on the shelf. Samurai, skeletons, a great looking mech, and a low price with a perfect price to part ratio. This is how you sell Rob McIntyre a LEGO set. I hope this is the beginning of a trend at LEGO where they offer the consumer a low price set with interesting and functional builds along with a decent selection of minifigs. We've all watched the price of LEGO climb over the years, especially for their licensed products. It's nice to see that they may be coming back down to offering affordable and fun sets again. Hey everyone, we have a Facebook page now where we bring together everything from YouTube, Instagram, and Etsy, so check that out. Just look up Brick and Tire on Facebook and you'll find us. While we're talking about it, follow us on Instagram, username @BrickandTire. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think of LEGO bringing out the Legacy line for Ninjago, and would you like to see them do this with any of their other series? Remember to subscribe, everyone. Play well, and as always, thank you for watching.